Hi guys. Okay, so I'm going to go over this Venus retrograde and I'll go over it for all the signs. And I do want to point out that this Venus retrograde is way more than any normal retrograde. There are so many just transits going on that are so like pivotal and shifting. And it's like it's launching us into a whole new era that we can be really excited about with recognizing what we value and what empowers us, what ignites us. And then, a lot of dispelling of illusions and letting go of the old and releasing old stories and really being able to see clearly so we can, end a giant old chapter and release, giant karmic cycles. So, yeah, let's go over it. With a Venus retrograde, we're really revising the way we relate to things. And this is the way we relate in relationships. This is also what we value. This is also, money. This is also how we manifest in our lives. It's more so internally, like what are we aligning with and what do we like? So we're attracting it to us. So and when it retrogrades, like we are internal and we're revising and we're reflecting on relationships, on money, on what we truly value. So it's bringing a lot of awareness. So to what we need to release and then what we can like kind of align with moving forward. When it comes to, and there's a Mercury retrograde during this too. So it's like really having that a lot of mental clicks and just realizations, like any, like way more realizations than you've ever really had with a normal Venus retrograde. Um, so we can really be decisive in this new era because we're moving into a new era that's very fiery, very fast. There's going to be a lot more changes and things won't be as like stuck and slow moving. So it's really good to get internally aligned during this time so we know what to go after when we're moving forward. Okay, so we start out with Venus in Aries, and this is where the massive new chapter is about to begin. Neptune and Saturn are going to be here at 0 degrees, and that is a giant new chapter. Like we are starting off a giant new beginning for humanity, for the world and mostly also personally in our lives, and we really want to dream big and be empowered in this area, and we want to be bold. And Aries is all about we're discovering the new ways of creation with Venus. At least we want to discover the new ways to explore, the new ways to kind of get back into our original selves. Aries is the baby, so it's like the baby comes out and it doesn't ask questions. Like it kind of like goes after whatever it wants. It'll touch the hot stove. It'll babies do whatever until they learn the restrictions, either by society or just life in general. So, it's really igniting that fire though, to be a little bit more reckless, to kind of have less limitation, no restrictions. And we get fired up. We, sense that like passion and that adventure and that freedom to explore that really ignites us because Aries is the spark too. It's the spark to light the fire, to light the journey, to light the manifestation. And with this Venus retrograde, we're going to discover what really ignites us in this new chapter because it is new. We don't really know all the things that are going to be coming in this area, but we get to get a little hint at least and discover what is igniting us now and what is this new adventure going to be about. So we can recognize like more of what we value that empowers us. And it is, I will say it is good to be a little cautious with Venus and Aries because you can just go and go and go and like not take any considerations, and you don't want to be that impulsive, obviously. Like we still have all our life lessons, and you don't want to like jump into a new relationship that might not be as like of quality, or just like be impulsive with quitting that job. But at the same time, we want to be able to explore like the new things that we value. And since we're kind of awakening so much, we're going to be awakening so much in the next couple of months. what is igniting us? Because a lot of us are so stuck in our comfort zone too, like very just stuck, stagnant, stale, just kind of like doing the same things and the same patterns, unless you are consciously growing and evolving and letting go of the old. But we get to explore like the big wide world, that strange world that's opening up for us and getting even, more exciting and stranger. And discover the new ways of having fun versus going back to the same old ways that might be reckless and impulsive. But yeah, it's really, we're creating awareness about what we can potentially create with what we are finding value in. So there could be definitely new relationships actually showing up during this time because there is going to be, I love this Venus Kizimi because it's going to be exactly trining Pluto, which is that evolution with our connection to other people. And then also there's going to be a trine to Juno, but Juno is going to be retrograde. But that means, there could be a significant relationship coming in. Juno is the marriage partner. Um, and marriage partner from even a past life that could easily just kind of come in to ignite you in this new era. So if you're single, that's really good. And I'll go over like where this is happening in your chart too. But yeah, so yeah, Aries is like, oh yeah, let's stick with Aries first. I'm all over the place. Mercury and Pisces. But we're also going to find out what ignites us about relationships in this new wake, with our evolution. But it's also going to invite us to like take up more space, to step more into who we truly are, where we might have been suppressing ourselves for society standards or for, you know, the relationship in general, especially with Neptune coming in here. There's going to be a lot of divorces in 2025 because, people are going to have to be transparent. The way you live one way is kind of going to be like the way you live in all ways, so it's really important to, get aligned in the relationship. And if you've been suppressing anything, it's coming out eventually, like especially with this stuff going on. But you're really not going to deal with relationships or relationship patterns that have been disempowering. So if somebody has been holding you back, like in victim mode and be like, wait, come back. What are you like doing? You need me and I need you and blah, blah, blah. Like, or there's so many ways, yeah, people in victim mode, people codependency, like there's so many ways, but if you're getting agitated like that and they're not empowering themselves, then you're going to be even more agitated by that. And it's like you need to be your most empowered self so they step into their most empowered self, There's no like victim mode and like holding somebody back to like really, to in a way that's disempowering because it's just not going to work anymore. So really figure out the ways that empower yourself so you can, show others how to empower themselves and not get stuck in codependent relationships or anything. But there is going to be an urgency with this too, kind of like a fire to pursue what really matters. Aries doesn't ask, it just goes. Where if you've been holding yourself back in any way from your manifestations, from your own growth, from what anything that you truly desire, like nothing's really going to be holding you back. You're just going to want to be going. And this is kind of giving us a little preview since Venus is going to be retrograding, starting to retrograde in Aries. It's going to give us a preview of what what is holding us back from stepping into that powerful self and what we need to release when Venus goes into Pisces, because we're not going to want to take any shit anymore. We're going to want to release whatever is stopping us from owning more of our own agency and our own willpower and not really asking anybody else. Aries is all about the self and what you want, like not looking to the group, not looking to society, not looking to religion or anything. It's like us finding, igniting that power to go after what we want. And if you don't do that, then you just, you'll be stuck in a rut. So it's really important to go on an adventure and discover and have fun and really discover what's important to you. And then when Venus goes into Pisces, oh, and I will talk about this too before. There is a wide square right now before Venus before Venus goes retrograde. To Mars. So I do like that because Venus in Aries is under Mars's rulership. And Mars is in detriment in Cancer. So but Mars is like figuring out internally what emotionally matters to us, and we're getting in touch with our emotions and what's agitating, and our emotions are coming out, anything that we've been repressing. So Venus over here, like, now we know what we value. Now we know what we value to be empowered, to move, forward in a more exciting direction. So really feel that, you're going to be feeling that more so towards the end of February. And it is a wide square, but, you might feel it just a little bit. I've been feeling it just a little bit. It's like anger coming up and just like frustration. So that'll like bring relationship patterns to the surface, or, maybe even spending habits. Like maybe you've been spending, to kind of fix some of these emotions, but it's not like working as much anymore because it doesn't ultimately empower you, which is the most important thing. So that's a good thing to kind of take note of. But it is like the masculine and the feminine energy, like duking it out and getting balanced. So, but it's letting those emotions come up so we can have review, reflect, and like be empowered with how we relate moving forward, and, say what needs to be said in relationships and really respect how we're feeling. And, recognize, are we reacting, or are we making the changes and being empowered, or are we reacting and staying in the same, disabling patterns? So really recognize that. And I also like how Venus is making a sextile to Jupiter. So it's nice. There's options. There's like new ways of having fun, and new ideas, new people to connect with, new ways of socializing, new things to try out. It's very dynamic, and we have choices. We have so many options and a lot more freedom with those choices and options. So again, that's just empowering the new era of exploring and, seeing what else is out there. And then we have Venus in Pisces. And then we have Venus in Pisces. Or, okay, let's actually go over this. Yeah. And then, when does this happen? I do like how Venus is conjuncting Mercury on the 11th in Aries. So this is going to kind of give you some ideas, like some communication coming your way. Maybe you have a conversation, maybe you hear some information that really empowers you. Um, Mercury is communication, writing, speaking, learning, just receiving some sort of knowledge. So you can kind of review and reflect, and maybe you have a conversation, and this is kind of like, okay, you gotta like review and reflect on it. And then, let's see. And then the 22nd is the Cazimi, which this is a very powerful Cazimi. And I love that. Oops, wrong one. Very powerful Cazimi, because Mercury's right here. So there's, there's a light bulb moment, and Venus is being refreshed in Aries. And, it is more about going after the new things and maybe being a little reckless with it. But at the same time, there is a refreshment here, and, we have some sort of idea and conversation, and just like, aha, like, okay, this is, what's being illuminated with what we value in this area, so we can move forward. And then plus the the sextile to Pluto is nice because it's bringing, power and transformation with it. Pluto can make you wealthy. So Pluto is like, power with money, with what we value, how, if we do that deeper, like internal transformation and we realize what we need to release to be more powerful, then we can, really align with the right things, when it comes to money and power. And that can also be very powerful, transformative relationships at the same time. Um, and I like how there's that trine to Pluto or Juno again. So it's like a powerful soulmate connection can easily come into your life. And, that kind of makes sense with the North Node so close to Neptune still. But yeah, it is kind of Venus getting a refresh with what we value, an aha moment. How can we be more empowered with all the Venus things and how can we communicate it? And yeah, okay, so, and then let's see what else. Then we have Venus in Pisces conjuncting Neptune. So yeah, this is kind of like, this is where you got to be cautious because like Venus in Pisces is, exalted actually. So there is like, we're going to see more of the beauty in everywhere. We're going to go for that, the best relationship. We're going to like know what we really value and how we, want to be romanced at the highest level possible. And conjunct Neptune, that is the higher octave of love. That is love, abundance, or love, spirituality. It's the higher dimension of love, pretty much. So like 5D, unconditional love, love without conditions, and really being able to feel that and connect with that. But the only thing is, if we're at a lower frequency, then we get deception, then we get illusion, delusion. So it's really important to, well, this is all happening to stay at that highest frequency possible. Love, like inspiration, passion, like you want to be attracting the higher inspirational things to you and be at that higher frequency. Because if you're at the high frequency, then the deceptive people can't get you. So it's like put yourself up there so you can really see, so you can have more awareness and manifest like amazing things, with the North Node and everything, you can really connect to that biggest soulful picture. And yeah, you got to get internally aligned too. You have to get aligned with your own internal vision and your manifestations and what is deeply meaningful to the soul, because that is the only thing that's going to be like really fulfilling for Pisces, but Venus in Pisces, it's also, going the non-linear path. So it's kind of like you don't really know where you're going sometimes. Like if you listen to your higher self all the time, which, I do now, and just kind of live in a flow state, like you don't know why you're doing this or that. But like it's kind of like a winding direction to actually bring you to your highest like goal possible a lot faster. So kind of letting yourself kind of flow and, woo wei and kind of go on that journey. Wu Wei is literally just surrendering, but being in flow and following that inspiration. But I also like, Abraham Hicks, follow your inspiration, follow your passion, and stay really high vibe and let that soulful path appear to you so you can find those things that are deeply meaningful to you that maybe you didn't even know would be deeply meaningful to you. But it's kind of like being more open to the universe, because if you are connected to your higher self and love and God and source, you can let like the highest manifestations in that you would have no idea how you would even get there in the first place. So it's always good to say, like, for the highest good of all, and to let the universe work through you to get you to these manifestations. You just have to realize that it already exists and internally, like, get your vibration there and step into that person. And then it's easier to, like, manifest. So, also, yeah, it's like recognizing the bigger picture. And then there's going to be major realizations with what we need to let go of, because Pisces is all about dissolving and releasing, and what how we're seeing ourselves now with being in tune with our higher selves and our like source and God, like the actual us, the real us, like what is important now, and anything that's not important, is really going to be easy to like let go and let fall away, because you want to make room for the new, and you want to let this big old cycle end where maybe you've been stuck, maybe you've been letting too many just heavy things like hold you down, and that it's not actually meaningful to you, and it's not like the way you actually want to live. So it's like letting those heavier things go. And so you can really just pay attention to this and be excited for the new cycles that are firing you up. Have more freedom, have more soulful inspiration and love and excitement in your life. Because at the end of the day, with this, we're getting in touch with our soulful truth. And our soulful truth is like, how does it make you feel at the end of the day? It doesn't matter like how it's logical or whose truth, or whatever society does, society's truth. How does it make you feel, and how do you want to feel throughout your life? That's going to be the most important thing, and that's the soulful story that kind of wants to come alive. So Venus and Pisces, we're letting go, but it's letting go so we can be freer to pursue this like soulfully meaningful direction. Sorry if I was breathing a little weird. I stopped for a second because I literally drank two sodas before I came on here, and then a Celsius, and I'm like excited about it, all of this, even though it's like, major changes and everything. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, but okay, so what else is helping us with this transit is Mars. Mars is now direct and cutting out anything that doesn't emotionally serve us, that doesn't, feel like home, that doesn't like create that space and nurturing that we truly need, to feel good out in the world. So, there's just a nice like flowing trine with like, okay, this isn't aligned with your path and what actually makes you feel good and where you want to go. So it's time to release it. It's time to be in alignment with your deeper truth. And yeah, do you want to be in relationships just to people please or out of obligation? Or are you ready to, yeah, just listen to your soul and live more in your authenticity? So it's kind of like being empowered with this newfound knowledge that you're finding within. So you can recognize like be empowered with your soulful purpose and why you're here in this lifetime, and make those decisions and have more trust and faith in the universe. Um, so yeah, you can, if you have more trust and faith and openness with the universe, like the universe will always give. It's when you close yourself down from the universal flow and you don't trust that we get stuck. So see what you can kind of cut away so you can have more faith and trust and surrender with whatever is actually really meant for you. But I will say there is going to be a lot of revelations. Like, yeah, see, Mercury switched, Neptune switched. So it's kind of crazy that this happens the same day. So, like, yeah, Neptune goes into Aries. So a whole new chapter is starting there with us believing in spirituality and faith and a higher perspective and, the dream. So we can be empowered, and it has to be our dream. It can't be anybody else's dream because it has to ignite our spark. And then with Mercury here, we're like, oh, this is what was going on. Because Neptune is gone. Neptune brings a lot of illusions and delusions, and sometimes we don't see clearly. We really don't see. As much as you try to see clearly with Neptune, you still don't see everything. It's like trying to find your sunglasses at the bottom of the ocean. Like, as much as you thought you've looked in the ocean, like there's no way to search the entire ocean. So, be prepared for things to be possibly revealed when it comes to relationships and, communication and money and what you really value and how you can be, again, like pushed in this fated direction with whatever realizations this is. Um, yeah, I heard a psychic talk about this actually, Joanna the healer, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm not making any plans this year because everything's going to be different." So, and this kind of looks like that, like everything's like we can't really plan fully because we don't see clearly yet, and there's so many revelations to and veils to be lifted for us to be able to really see what we're even doing. So definitely March 30th, pay attention. Because there is a bubble that will be popped, good or bad. Pisces is nightmares, but it is also fantasies. And, it is being able to see that even the nightmares do help us though, so we have to like see the dark, see the light, so we know what direction, that is best for us moving forward and have those deep soulful insights. So definitely keep a dream journal and everything, and maybe even a feelings journal. That's very helpful around this time. This is a wild, wild time because like this just doesn't happen. Like North Node, Mercury with Saturn, serious decisions when it comes to love, when it comes to, relationships, money, all of that, with illusions being cleared and, just we're like knowing now with Mercury. So yeah, this is very, very unusual. But yeah, what is nice is that Mars over there, especially after the fourth, Venus, and they have a really long trine for 4 days. So it's like, okay, now that we know this is what needs to go, this is like what, how we need to be more aligned moving forward. And I do like this sextile to Uranus because it is like, okay, this is the new way of stability and security. And maybe what was not secure before is, we're finding a better way with stability and security that actually has way more freedom. So that's also really exciting. And then, yeah, but let's see, or when does this happen? On the 5th. Because, yeah, I love this, Mercury, Venus, Saturn. I love Venus and Saturn together because it is like, and Venus and Pisces, it's like, oh, what do we value? It's the highest dream possible that we value. And, but Saturn gives us the structure to bring the highest dream possible into reality. So we can actually like make a plan, make a structure when it comes to all this illusion and like fantasy and mysticism. Because Mercury and Pisces, we don't really understand. We're speaking in vibes and frequency now. And oh, what did I think earlier today? Oh, yeah, people only understand you at the frequency that they're at. So there's so much confusion. But what I found actually is staying high vibe and staying like love, like it brings them to that higher frequency, at least. So where they were looking for, a confusing fight or anything, like you just give them love and it kind of elevates them. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, this is like confusion over Lotus, and this square to Jupiter doesn't help. It's not like a tight square, but it doesn't, it's like you have to find the truth within. You have to go within. You have to get into that knowing. You have to get into your intuition and follow the signs and synchronicities and have trust and faith in God and the universe to really know and have that knowing with what's right for you. So this is like a big like testing ground, it looks like, to really trust ourselves and our visions and our dream and have faith to the max. And it doesn't look, I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. And I think it really is, your ability to have faith, um, faith in God, faith in the universe. And yeah, So yeah, so and then Saturn conjuncting the North Node with Venus going direct now. So it's like this is what we value now, and like this is the plan, this is the structure, and we're serious about it. We're making decisions and we're going in the new direction, the new scary unknown direction where it still is like because Pisces is like I don't know, like where we're going. We're in the fog, we're underwater, we're in space, but you don't fully know, but it feels right. So that's why you're going in that direction. And yeah, it's fulfilling to your soul to go in whatever direction this is and cut out anything that you don't need anymore and make those tougher decisions so you can, have this new structure with being very serious about your soul, your your internal happiness to move forward in a very exciting new way. Okay, and yeah, that's it for that. So yeah, let's start with all the signs. Okay, Aries. So when Venus first goes retrograde, it's all going to be in your first house. So this is about you. This is about your identity and who you want to be. And you're kicking off a big new chapter that's like, major. So it helps to really know right off the bat what you want this new chapter to look like. And it's all about how can you be empowered um, with like what you're going after and what you want your whole life to look like, actually. Um, because the first house rules everything. It rules your career, it rules your relationships, it rules your home. And you've already kind of been going back and forth when it comes to your home and family. And, you want to be empowered in this new era and you are going to be on fire. And there's literally nothing that's going to be really holding you back. Um, you're going to be the most on fire out of all of us. And this whole new chapter that's kickstarting with Neptune, I mean, this is a 35-year new chapter, like new cycle that you're really starting. And you can make the dream come true, but you have to be serious about your dreams and your vision for the future and kind of cut out anything that's not like fitting with that, and be empowered to do that. And then in your 12th house, your Pisces in your 12th house, there might be, major revelations when it comes to relationships. 12th house is where you don't see things. So where you weren't seeing clearly, you might see something clearly. But that's also just, behind the scenes and everything. You could also be getting in touch spiritually with, your higher self and source and clearing out a lot of the subconscious stuff so you can invite more of your higher self into your body like when everything enters Aries. So doing that internal work is so important right now and letting yourself sleep and relax and like really align is like don't underestimate that because that is very, very important. And then, yeah, let's see. Because when Saturn's in the first, you got to be a little serious and you got to be, make those tougher decisions, but it's the decisions that will be beneficial for you for the long term. So yeah, if you're in a major transition, the frequency of transition supports our deeper understanding of the ever changing nature of existence in our lives, so we can learn to let go, surrender with the process, and allow that transition to occur with ease and grace. So know that you are probably in the biggest transition of your life, and when this is done, in April, you're going to be coming out of the gates like fiery and ready to go. So take the time to rest and rejuvenate and connect with yourself and your inner world. Know that, if there's been frustrations in your relationships or more than frustrations, if there has just not been alignment, if you guys if you guys are looking to the long term, but maybe the reasons why you stayed together was for more traditional reasons and more for family and obligation, then, a divorce is probably coming. Um, or at least there's going to be a need to evolve, a need to evolve so you can be the most empowered version of you. And yeah, but with that, there will be a lot of abundance, soulmate relationships definitely want to be attracted to you, but know that one, like, yeah, you're going to be craving a depth and intimacy for sure. Like, you're going to want bonding, sensual, like confiding. You're going to want those deeper layers, in those soulful connections that can really go to that level. So know what you need to let go of. The 12th house is about letting go of a big cycle. You're ending a big cycle from the past 30 years, 28 years to really like kickstart the new. And so let go of anything that's not serving you anymore so you can be, really fired up in this new era. All right. Thank you, Aries. Oh, with this Venus Cazimi though, you are having this whole new like transformation with how you look out in the world and how you can look your best and attract more of what you want and feel good and look good and it can be you can easily find somebody with this trine to Juno, a marriage partner, while traveling, while pursuing some sort of um, spiritual alignment, while aligning with your meaning and purpose in life, traveling abroad, yeah, or just kind of going after some sort of like topic of interest, higher learning, is how you can possibly meet a spouse and maybe start this whole new love story. And there's also like a powerful transformation that you can have with the 11th house, which is friends and networking and maybe being an influencer online. You have a lot of power with being online right now. So if you're not online, you can be very influential. And, that can also ignite a love for you. Like maybe you have been like hiding out, but you can reboot into this powerful new version of you out in the world and take advantage of this technological age. All right. Thank you, Aries. All right, Taurus, this is happening in your 12th house, which is aligning with passion projects, spirituality, your higher self. Neptune moving into your 12th house, you're going to be very psychic for, a long time. So that's going to be nice. But yeah, there can also be a lot of revelations of what you didn't see about relationships before and how you can be empowered moving forward because the 12th house is what we don't see about relationships, but maybe there's something being highlighted where okay, now we know and we can be powerful like out in the world, so with the sextile to your Pluto in your 10th house, it's like, okay, this is who I want to be. This is the legacy that I want to leave, and I want to be powerful and I want to be, influential or, whatever really fulfills that deeper soulful desire again. It doesn't have to be influential or powerful, but whatever you really want to do, that's, brings a lot of evolution to your soul, but also is helpful to the collective. Um, so letting yourself, kind of get aligned with your higher self and your soul, because the 12th house is all about your soul. So you can, really know what you be more like empowered moving forward. And also maybe empowered with trusting your psychic, intuitive senses, I feel like horses are always very naturally psychic, but and not being afraid to like put yourself first too, and with this trine to Juno in the 8th house, you could easily maybe meet a marriage partner through like deep healing, Reiki, astrology, tarot, also investigative work, taboo stuff. um how else? Investing. Maybe, maybe you're into yeah, one of those investing groups. Um, But I do like the sextile to Pluto too, because it's like having that evolution with how you connect with humanity and how you want to have those human experiences out in the world. And, letting your higher self like kind of connect in that way with what you're here to do. And then with Venus in the 11th house, it's all about connecting with friends and, maybe where there was some illusions with friends before. Um, you want high vibe friends. You want to be very high vibe yourself. So you have high vibe friends. And, with Saturn here, that's been helping instead of friends that are just little lower vibe, little like they could be have their, uh, you know, I don't know. Like Neptune can be, drug problems, alcohol problems. But being fatally pushed in a major direction when it comes to your friends and networking and who you're connecting with out in the world. And you want to be connecting with big dreamers and you want to go after bigger hopes and dreams for the future that are kind of for the higher purpose of humanity. If you include your dreams with, you know, for the highest good of all, then they can really happen. And it's good to let maybe old dreams dissolve too, like old dreams of the old era that aren't going to serve you or anything. So you can be more focused on the new dreams and like the whole unknown that's being revealed and you know those soul connections that kind of open up your world in major ways. Okay, so yep, fantasy keeps on popping out. That's so, I mean, it needs to though, because that's exactly this energy. It's like you getting in touch with your fantasy is going to align you with the right people and the right situations and the right dream. And you got to be empowered. Third chakra came out, so that's really listening to your own desires and your listening to your own desires in a major way does connect you with your higher self. So what are you passionate about? What gets you like excited? That is powering up your third chakra, which is going through a mutation right now. Um, so be empowered with what you want, not like what anybody else wants. What do you want? What is deeply soul fulfilling? What gives you that life force energy? And listen to your intuition. Goddess of the Moon came out reverse. Um, don't be like too practical. Because the South Node in Virgo, like we can release the practicality with maybe the biggest dreams possible. Maybe it's good to just say yes to the biggest dreams possible and aligning with your higher self and seeing what the universe really brings you. Um, Align with that unconditional love even more so. Cosmic Flower came out, so I love that. So the frequency of cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. So yeah, maybe getting in touch with the aliens also, because I mean that's obviously Pisces in the 11th house, like getting in touch with the higher dimensions and everything, so you can get in touch with your home frequency, actually. So but whatever excites you, follow your inspiration, the Knight of Wands is all about going on that adventure, like following that spark, following that fun. And there might be, yeah, a guardian that kind of comes into your life or I think with this energy there's definitely a lot of guardians and loved ones around you and watching over you. So even if you have to let go of some sort of big traditional thing or some sort of like major part of stability and security, in this new era, I'm just going to say, I'm not going to say, this Venus retrograde, but you will be supported and you will be supported towards like bigger dreams and higher like dreams and inspiration. This is a good Venus retrograde. It's just, a lot's going on. And then chemistry came out. So there might be chemistry with a King of Swords. So somebody who is very logical, very stern, but also very wise. The King of Swords kind of sits on the mountaintop and kind of knows when to get involved, but he's very like fair and balanced. And yes, attraction, spark, passion. So you'll feel that. Follow your passion. But also there might be two. I will just say there might be a Knight of Wands and then there might be a King of Swords. So know which one you want out of those, obviously. And yeah, get in touch with the more you can get in touch with the unconditional love and like the joy and the inspiration, the more you can attract in a bigger vision than you even thought was possible. All right, thank you, Taurus. Hi, Gemini. Okay, so there's this big new chapter starting in your 11th house, which is hopes, dreams, visions for the future. It's your networking. It's kind of after all this hard work with Saturn in the 10th house for the past 2.5 years, you've been working hard and you're going to be receiving some rewards after all of that hard work because the 11th house has more so to do with career gains and being a part of a larger network out in the world so you can easily attract in your abundance and be empowered with that too. So being empowered with your friend group and network and who's really lifting you up, versus like who might be weighing you down, because there's also going to be a lot of letting go with your 10th house. Um, the 10th house is, who you've been out in the world so far. So there's a lot of stability, with who you've been out in the world so far, but there might be a lot of stability and old foundations and, previous, just parameters that might need to be dissolved for you to be aligned with your higher purpose. So really, be excited about this transformation. You can really discover new ways of connecting and meet a lot, new people, powerful new people, because this Venus Cazimi happening in your 11th house, you can, meet people that are just very empowering. With this sextile to Pluto, like maybe you are powerful with aligning with your meaning and purpose in life. But aligning with those powerful beliefs and everything and really letting yourself evolve with that. And yeah, you crave depth with when it comes to your beliefs. Like you're ready to like kind of broaden your world and connect with humanity and for the good of humanity, so you can yeah, evolve you know with yourself and then evolve like out of old beliefs. But wow. Oh yeah, this too. So yeah, this trying to Juno in your 7th house, that's really nice because that's a marriage partner in your, 7th house of relationships. So easily with this Venus Cazimi in the next 6 months, 6 to 8 months, you can attract in a relationship that's very fiery, but very expansive at the same time. And they probably have a lot of wisdom and they probably open up your world in a whole new way and give you, power, help you evolve with these beliefs and your worldview. And yeah, so let's see. So Divine Masculine came out. Oh my gosh, that makes sense though, because, all this fire energy with it in your 7th house. But your Divine Masculine might be activating in a certain way. Divine Masculine is how we take action, but how we take action from that higher soulful place. So Divine Masculine supports our strong, focused, active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us to bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. So yeah, this could be majorly like you aligning with work that you really love and starting your own business and just going for it. So that would actually be very powerful during this time. And then that would be the door to like healing and happiness too. You could also be powerful with podcasting, by the way, with Pluto in the 9th house. Like power with, there's a lot of power with you being able to share your ideas and then also like connecting on social media. So, intimacy. I think there's a lot of intimacy that you might have been ignoring with Pluto in Capricorn. Like now it's time to get into your unique way of intimacy and don't suppress it anymore. Because Pluto in Capricorn was all about intimacy with like societal standards and what you do share, what you don't share, like and whatever. But we're kind of breaking the limitations of that intimacy now. So it's time for you to get in touch with your intimacy that really lights that fire, that lights that spark, because that's going to attract in the this divine masculine too, or a partner. So bonding, sensual, confiding. Yeah, that'll like getting deeper in those relationships and not really being afraid to. Um, but yeah, there's some sort of indecision here where it's actually like really heavy. The Ten of Wands is like a heavy load that, we've been carrying around for a while that, we're ready to let go of because this is the old chapter and you're indecisive about it. So why are you indecisive and what can you do? And no came out, so not yet, not the right time. Maybe wait until, this is all over with to, don't be too impulsive. Yeah. There's a new spark igniting, and you got to wait for it to really ignite and for the new cycle to start. So you don't know exactly what's for you yet until this until this retrograde happens. And then because there's going to be a major spark of inspiration. Ace of Wands came out. But and then you'll kind of know who to maybe cut out because the Three of Pentacles came out reversed. So maybe you've been putting work in an area that actually like isn't serving you. Um, but also like maybe these are friendships that need to go or work relationships that need to go that are actually just creating a lot of weight and a lot of heaviness. So but realize the importance of depth and intimacy in your romantic connections. All right, thank you so much, Gemini. Hi, Cancer. Okay, so this Venus retrograde is a big one for you. It's happening in your 10th house, which is your career, it's your legacy, it's, what you're known for pretty much out in the world. And maybe you're letting go of relationships or work that really just doesn't empower you anymore. You're going to be feeling the agitation, especially with Mars that's been in your first house. Like you've been very determined to go in a certain direction and to kind of cut out anything that's not leading you to your highest goal. And then, so you're reevaluating that, cutting out work relationships, cutting out, you know, could be, marriage only if it's already been on the rocks, though. You already went through Pluto in the seventh house. So I feel like Pluto, kind of went through that, last year for you. And, it wouldn't actually be this anymore. But yeah, there's a new beginning happening with your career and who you are out in the world. And how can you be aligned with that, with what you really value now? Um, and there's power with finances and shared resources, getting investors when it comes to your business and getting loans and yeah, other people's money, maybe getting a boost in ad revenue, but also like freeing yourself by not being so like closed off, like maybe with Pluto and Capricorn, you were very like by the book or, societal standards, very proper or whatever. But now there's a need to kind of get more, in depth when it comes to relationships. So, um, with Pluto in the eighth house, you need to be able to have those deeper conversations, go really deep and um, not hold back. Eighth house is all the way deep. It's kind of like if you merge with a person, like, emotionally, physically, always like you're morphing into your relation. You want to morph into your relationships with Pluto. in the eighth house. So, or, it could be the complete opposite where you abstain and just say no. So yeah, but with Venus in the ninth house, you're majorly getting in touch with consciousness. Your higher self could definitely be talking to you right now. So, the frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that show up so we can include them in our reality. So, yeah, you're majorly like a big channel with your higher self and higher knowledge and higher inspiration, spirituality, finding your meaning and purpose in life and what deeply, soulfully fulfills you. And maybe it pushes you to, get aligned spiritually or, go on sort of spiritual adventure, go on commit to a spiritual practice or a educational pursuit, whatever it takes to really get to this higher vision and dream that you're really believing in, because you can have very optimistic, exciting beliefs to kind of go after whatever you want. So really pay attention to what your consciousness is giving you right now. Because yeah, it's going to bring you a lot of because peace, connect to peace, harmony, friendships. There can be friendships that majorly, come into your life right now that really, ignite you in a certain direction. Oh, also with this trine to Juno in the sixth house, you can meet like a romantic relationship. A past life past life marriage partner, or a future marriage partner in your place of work. So that's very exciting. Women holding a coin, so it's really recognizing like what you value now. And it might have to be much more than money. It's what empowers you. And with feminine energy, they say like if you're doing a job that you love, then you'll just have that constant energy to really do it, for feminine energy mainly. But yeah, give it time, let things flow. This is really majorly letting old beliefs dissolve too at the same time. So you don't like jump too fast into anything and you're not completely believing in the Delulu, but you are getting really excited to like jump into something because the Fool card came out, but slow down, just slow down and don't be too impulsive with it. Because yeah, there might be some relationships that are like, maybe you thought they were the right ones, but there is some sort of like shallowness, hollow, empty boredom. There's going to be a deeper need to like find relationships and work that satisfy that deeper like need within you. So anything that's hollow or empty or brings boredom, like it's not for you. It's time to let that go. But there can also be major like reveals, like confession. Let's see. Someone has something to tell you. Be prepared for that. But yeah, this is also like just with your beliefs in general, I think it is good to, be in touch with the universal ways, the laws of the universe. And just be very woo-wei about it. Like you don't actually have to make the plan. You do have to just connect with your higher self and let the universe flow you to the best things possible. Let me do the dice for you just because want a little more. Yeah, the 12th house stuff, you're you're really getting in touch with your higher self. You can receive like the best psychic readings right now with Jupiter in the 12th house, and you can connect to your higher self. Your higher self is on a loudspeaker right now, trying to like talk to you. And that's going to make you realize what more of what you value. Venus came out. Relationships that will actually be deeply fulfilling. The higher path, connecting with your soul and your soul satisfaction is going to bring you to that abundance. And then Leo, yeah, in that money. So yeah, also look out for a Leo potentially. All right, thank you, Cancer. Leo, okay, this is all about your ninth house. You're really igniting something when it comes to your beliefs and your meaning and your purpose in life. Also, you're going to find that, inspiration where you can really step up into more of a leadership role and, be more of a, mentor, or maybe you find like a guide around this time too, somebody that kind of gets you aligned on a certain path. Um, but yeah, and with this sextile to Pluto, with this Venus Cazimi, there's a new beginning that's happening with you, really aligning with your meaning and purpose that can bring in powerful relationships. So it's kind of like do do the meaning and purpose first, more focus on that, less focus on the relationships, because if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing out in the world, the relationship will kind of come in, but you have to be focused on like what you're doing out in the world and kind of just let the universe kind of bring in someone special for you. But I love this trine to Juno in the fifth house because yeah, a really fun, significant relationship can come into your life that is maybe more aligned with your spirituality and what you like to do for fun and your creativity. And, maybe they have some sort of belief systems. You can meet somebody while traveling too, while going back to school, while traveling. Um, yeah, while pursuing some sort of spiritual path or knowledge. So don't ignore the path, wherever your soul is kind of calling you, whatever is like exciting you to go in a certain direction. Um, but also with Venus going into the eighth house, there's going to be a major focus on your finances and intimacy and, shared finances. This is debts, loans, contracts. This is how you merge in your relationship with your significant other. Um, yeah, property. It's the bulky money basically. So, and I did get a storm warning first, so there might be, financial constraints first, but that's really to let go of anything that's not in alignment. So, if there's anything that's been too heavy that you've been holding on to that has been just, weighing you down, um, then this is definitely going to be this is going to cleanse it from your life for sure. Um, but with that, you can find this new spark, this new passion, and be aligned. You're being forced to be aligned, like on what you're actually supposed to be here, to be doing, especially as a fire sign. You gotta like step into your purpose. And there's no if, ands, or buts about it anymore. It's time to, I mean, more so in 2026, but it's time to kind of really get aligned with what you love to do because passion came out. Passion. The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us it assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving on from chaos to calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. So you know what I've noticed with like this eighth house transit is you have to find the more you can find that unconditional for yourself in any relationship situation. Where you would normally beat yourself down and be like, oh my God, I was so stupid, or oh my God, why did I do that? Or oh my God, like anything like that, that's not speaking out of self-love, is setting you up for that same pattern when it comes to your relationships of the future. So it's like right now, if you're not fixing that, I think you're going to be running into those kind of situations and people that will trigger that even heavier right now. So it's like definitely really, really important to do the internal deep work right now. Go hermit mode, go cave mode. We can come out in April. But like, with this 12th house transit, we have to get in touch with our higher selves and our higher purpose and what, gives us that soulful passion. No, not the right time. Do not I would not date right now because you're probably like, it's not going to be good. You'll probably get people that like attract these deeper wounds to really like bring it to the surface. We're cleansing this area. And it helps if you can just have compassion for them too, even if it's like been frustrating situations. Um, but yeah, this is major letting go of soulmate connections. The lovers came out reversed. So you can go through a major cleansing with that. But and then yeah, financial things that aren't working out. It's so you can manifest with that higher vision of what's really meant for you. With Jupiter in the 11th house, like there's choices when it comes to your hopes and dreams and people to connect with. So really open up your world in some way and don't stay so stuck in the old work and the old grind, because there's a lot of power with meeting people and being aligned with your purpose. So it just takes one person to meet, or one um thing that happens in your life to really change your whole life. So the more that you can just heal yourself and kind of be ready for that, that's putting yourself in a better place versus like expecting the Capricorn same old work and grind and boxed in predictable life. Because that's not letting in the new. The fifth came out, five came out. So definitely some significant relationship coming in, and it could be romantic, could be a creative relationship too, but either way, open up to that. And then Venus came out. So yeah, obviously, really reflecting on your values when it comes to relationships and your beliefs about relationships, and what um what beliefs were disempowering about relationships or kept you disempowered in relationships so you can be empowered in them moving forward. And also that deep, intense healing with intimacy. What's this storm warning though? Temple path and the lovers. Oh my gosh. So I don't know. The eighth house, like, will really, like, you do have to go through big triggers sometimes, or big endings. Like the eighth house, if you are really not, if you're not aligned on the path that you're supposed to be in, there will be a complete cutoff and a transformation. So you are where you're supposed to be. So just know that, but also know that it'll be okay. It's just about evaluating where you've been putting your time and energy and where you shouldn't be putting it anymore. This is getting you aligned in a major way with what soulfully feels good. So listen to your intuition. You're so insanely psychic right now. Listen to your intuition and what feels good. Where is spirit leading you? And open up your heart with that love and compassion for yourself and everybody in the world so you can be directed on that highest path possible. Because Storm Warning came out, and the Tower card came out. So it's like shocks and disruptions. So you get on your path. And so you get on this temple path, which may be windy, it may be the unknown, but and I have this North Node placement. It is like it's the unknown, but it feels good. So it's like just go on this adventure. It feels good. It is the right direction. But yeah, give it a little time too. You'll know when it's the right time and when you're supposed to go. But the North Node, Saturn going on the North Node, stabilizing relationships coming in and stabilizing work at the same time. So if you do have to switch up your job, then there can be a perfect job that actually is like, feels good for your soul and it's actually where you're supposed to be. So this can, and letting yourself go through that process of maybe if you do have to give up something that is just going to give you that deeper, knowledge and wisdom and trust and faith in the universe. All right. Thank you, Leo. Hi, Virgo. How's it going? Okay, so this is happening. Venus starts in your eighth house, and you're meant to be empowered when it comes to shared resources, your finances. This is maybe your partner or spouse's finances. But, it is individual too. So making sure if you are in that kind of situation that you're also empowered. But this is also like big salaries and contracts and there can be a powerful like reset with that. So you're recognizing your value and your worth and you're making sure that you're getting paid. And yeah, because Pluto in the sixth house, that's like power and evolution with work. Um, but also this is like powerful evolution with maybe discovering the deeper eighth house stuff, which can be, those deeper emotions that we suppress and just reject. And, it could be majorly like bringing stuff up in a fiery way. So you kind of recognize it. But with letting it come up, it is freeing you in some way, health wise, because Pluto in the sixth house, if you've been, suppressing emotions too much, then, that does affect your health. So it's majorly finding that freedom where you've been, holding yourself back in a disempowering way, when it comes to intimacy in relationships, or, if you've been holding on to any projections from other people, like since childhood, since, earlier in life, then you're burning those away so you can set yourself free and do more of what you really want to do and ask for the equal share when it comes to finances and equal exchange of energy. But this one's majorly about relationships for you. Oh yeah, in Juno trine, this Juno trine in your fourth house. So maybe you meet a soulmate relationship from, that from your hometown or that lives around your home and family. Maybe they have similar values with your home, with your family and your old traditions. And so yeah, that's exciting at least. And maybe that, helps you heal a lot when it comes to intimacy and relationships. But Venus and then when Venus goes into Pisces, that's really dissolving a lot of past illusions when it comes to relationships. Neptune has been in your seventh house for, since 2011. And it's like you've had the rose-colored glasses on, and now you're going to be able to see clearly, and the illusion is going to be leaving. So, with the fantasy bubble gone, and you're seeing reality now, and you're realizing like maybe the dream, having them on a pedestal and everything was, something that happened for a little bit. But now, how can you, kind of just be realistic, have that unconditional love for them, and you see their higher selves, but you're appreciating where they're at now. And also, like, just with love in general, maybe releasing where you did get hurt, in the past when it comes to these love stories. So you can have this new reboot in love. Because Ace of Cups came out. So there's a whole new beginning with love, with this. So it's really, but it's going to come through your empowerment. Empowerment came out and root chakra came out. So you being empowered with, who you are, like at the core of your soul. The root chakra stimulates passion and supports our senses of security on the physical plane, both in our bodies as well as the physical world. So yeah, you're getting yourself by, going through this like awakening internally and kind of burning like all those unnecessary emotions and resentments and judgments away. Like it's going to give you more stability and security here and a sense of empowerment when you merge with others, so you don't get completely lost in others like you used to, and so you can be powerful with work. So I love that. And yeah, there's just a big fated push when it comes to relationships. Be very high vibe when it comes to relationships. Because there is, just wait a bit too, because obviously you want Neptune to maybe finally just get out of there. Because Seven of Cups came out. Yeah, there's options, and maybe some of them look good, but not all of them are good. And there's anxiety with that, but you gotta like just let this kind of play out. Five of Wands came out reversed, so yeah. This could just be relationships in general that are just frustrating. So avoid the fight and know that any relationships that you're going through right now, it's kind of like evolving out of the karma. It's triggering the last little bit of this big karmic cycle that is ending when it comes to relationships and your serious relationships and being disappointed by relationships. So it can end. So be excited for it to end. And it's all about perspective. At the end of the day, that was a crazy transit, I guess. Um, but realize, like, your happiness when you do have a clearer head, when this wears off, and, that who you're better off, without. Um, and then let's see, escaping, avoiding. Yeah, make sure you're not escaping during this time. That can just be escaping through the fantasy of these relationships, but that's also like avoiding and blocking those realizations that you do need to see so you can release yourself from this karmic cycle. And shallow, hollow, empty boredom. Yeah, you got to ignite this eighth house area. It's funny, Cancer got this with Pluto in the eighth house. You have to ignite like what you really deeply desire in relationships. Like the eighth house intimacy is, and you're going to go through this giant, massive new chapter with the eighth house. So this is like it is with intimacy. It is, and it's in Aries. It is about like, sex and like love and bonding and what you really want with that. It's in the eighth house, which is like merging completely, like body, mind, spirit, soul. So what like really ignites that spark that you might have been suppressing or holding back because you are a Virgo and you want to you know, be like, liked by everybody and or just like be very, I don't know. You got to make sure you're not like surface and you're looking a little bit deeper. So, yeah, fifth house stuff, love, sex, romance, creativity. What is that deeper soulful need that really hits that like deeper soulful button for you, Taurus? Um, and yeah, you're still going through a little evolution with like this ninth house stuff, expanding your world. And maybe there's something like some random trip that you get to go on that expands your world in some way, or a way that you break through your limiting beliefs that with the way that relationships had to be, that was more traditional, but you can actually like connect to your, higher. Taurus is can be too, if you're too fixed and rigid with your beliefs and they're a little too dogma, really free yourself from that so you can align with a higher perspective and beliefs that really work for you. Um, Let me pull some cards though. What is this anxiety? Yeah, you got to do the deep shadow work too, because with these transits going into your eighth house, you're going to face, past heartbreak in a very intense way. So you got to do that intense, deep healing. You got to work on your chakra alignment. This can be Kundalini awakening too, that happens in the next 3 years, or getting you ready for one. So it's going to like bring those up in a very fiery way, but it's to set you free. It's a moksha house. Like you're bringing up all the gunk that has been holding you back emotionally to like burn away and free you. And it can actually happen really fast. So be prepared for, what you haven't seen before and where you might have been, shallow, like you're getting in deep now and you want depth when it comes to your relationships, and that it actually will lead you to the foundation that you really want. Four Wands came out reversed. So it's like maybe you aren't where you are actually supposed to be when it comes to home, family, and foundation and celebration, or hanging out with people that will actually bring this aliveness out of you at a deep soulful level. So you're majorly getting aligned with that and what like deeply soulfully matters and brings you through that deeper soulful evolution that will align you with work and people and your tribe and maybe a healing path and a spiritual path that is, way more fulfilling than you would have even thought. All right. Thank you, Virgo. Hi, Libra. Let's see what's going on for you. So I love this Venus retrograde happening in your seventh house. You're figuring out the way that you can be empowered when it comes to your serious one-on-one relationships. And this could be business, this could be professional, this could be friendships, romantic, it could be family, any serious one-on-one relationship. And you're going to be a little bit, it's igniting that, take no shit mode anymore when it comes to relationships. But with that, you're majorly healing a wound. So don't feel bad or unbalanced by having that perspective because there's deep healing with that. And when you let yourself be empowered with relationships, you're going through this deep evolution with what you really love. Pluto in the fifth house, you're awakening in a major way. And going through a soulful evolution with what you love and what you're passionate about. The fifth house is fun, play, pleasure, creativity, self-expression. Kids too. You could be meeting someone, in the next 6 months that gives you kids. Also just yes, yeah, fun, sex, play, pleasure. And this is past life talents coming on too. So past life creative talents, like maybe you're just awakening to that you're like, oh, what? Like I love this actually, and I'm really good at it. And you just got to spend a little bit more time like focusing on that. But I mean, this does look like a powerful setup for a soulmate connection to come in. And I did just do a tarot reading for you that I just posted actually. And yeah, the strongest message of a counterpart energy coming in with like that might be a twin flame, watch out. Um, but like a strong soulmate connection. I mean, that's literally what it looks like. That might awaken you in a whole new way that you might be a little scared to go towards because maybe they're completely different than anyone that you would have thought you would have ended up with. Maybe there's, socially or societally different than what you know, what like you wouldn't like on your list or like if you put yourself on Hinge, there you would put a block to like the age or like the I don't know. There's so many different things with those soulmate relationships. Like they usually have a different background or like an age gap that you wouldn't normally consider or some sort of difference like that where or maybe they're not your type and it's kind of like looking at those things, but that strong connection comes in anyway, and you're like pulled to it, and you're just like, I mean, usually that would be an automatic no, because that's not what I want, like, and that's not on the list. But like, that's the point of those soulful connections to realize like the soul doesn't care about all of that. And that is, the ego talking, and it's time to break out of that and start living from the soul. Because, yeah, you got the craziest cards already that came out, like that is a major awakening through relationships and letting go of relationships that don't like really fulfill you. Oh my God. And so many are coming out too. Um, but also Merkaba came out. So you are getting in touch with higher level soul connections that aren't even like, originated from this dimension. And that's also what really awakens you. This could bring in a major Kundalini awakening. So make sure you're getting ready for that because that's intense too. Look it up. There's a lot of weird side effects and everything, like your diet changes and the way your interest changes. You're just not interested in the same things anymore. It's a whole thing, and it takes a while. And you transform into a different person from the inside out. Okay, so Merkaba supports our ability to use the consciousness to traverse the other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to the Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into the present to serve our highest purpose. And remembrance came out. So yeah, somebody that you remember. Frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul in our body, providing us with the valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. So how you're going to what you're majorly getting aligned with is a remembrance from deep, soulful past, your deep, soulful history. And it's actually going to be fun. It's actually going to be exciting, but this is what's empowering you. So go towards the fun, go towards the excitement. Don't go towards the practical. Don't keep on doing the same thing because there's a way you might be in your head. Ten of Swords came out reversed. This came out in the earlier reading too. That's blocking you. Like you might be thinking and thinking and thinking and trying to rationalize. Instead, you got to be in the heart. Your heart is awakening in a big way, and you're going through this like deeper heart awakening evolution. And yeah, you got to know also at the same time, free yourself from past relationships. The lovers came out reversed. Move on from the past because a higher love connection wants to come in. So if you're in a relationship right now that's not working, like it's time to let it go or get ready to let it go. Because it's like it's time to have more fun and have those soulfully aligned connections that you just get each other. Like, and that's the thing, like you meet them and there's already a knowing. So you don't really need too much time to like get to know them because you're like at the same frequency and you're kind of like there's this knowing. So very exciting. Like you have the most exciting reading. I'm very excited for you. But yeah, it's kind of recognizing where there's no peace, where there's no balance, who's like bringing a lot of disharmony, who's bringing, just like, yeah, who's disrupting your peace. It's time for them to go. It's not time for you to be nice anymore. It's time for you to let them go and you to find the relationships that you can be empowered with. Six of Cups, soulmate relationships that like you just vibe with. There is peace, there's harmony, there is emotional fulfillment, because and this reading is so similar to the reading that I did earlier. It's so funny because Temperance, you are the balance. You are balancing the material and the physical. You are finding balance in your everyday life, and you're making the dream happen in your everyday life and finding that balance, mind, body, spirit. So yeah, when Venus goes in the sixth house, that's all about your coworkers. That's about your health, your diet, your routines, your everyday life, and your work. And how can you be emotionally fulfilled with that? And in an environment that feels soulfully good for you, where you can be of service to others in that more soulfully abundant way. And more aligned with your happiness. So realize what, connections for sure that, you might have been keeping around, keeping out of obligation, because that's not empowering you and it's not empowering them. And they're going to have to figure out how to be empowered. And yeah, it's like instead of, I mean, you have been overthinking and keeping yourself trapped and trying to think it out. When you do just kind of have to act more, you have to follow your heart instead. You're get out of the mind, get into the heart, get into the body. Because woman holding a heart, like, and this might be somebody like kind of coming in and giving you that remembrance too of love to be like, okay, this is actually the way like life is meant to feel good. And like where you might have had cloudy judgment before, illusion, unbalanced, distorted, like you will have clear judgment. What is this? Illusion. Okay, so Neptune going into your seventh house, there will be illusions with relationships, but the way you know they're illusions is by how they make you feel. Like you've got to pay attention to how you're feeling, and you're not going to be able to figure it out in the mind. Like you will get sucked into the worst relationships if you're trying to figure this out with the mind. You got to pay attention to how you're feeling. How does this person make you feel? Do they uplift you? Do they bring you happiness, joy, inspiration, peace, harmony, like all the higher Neptune things, or are they doing the lower Neptune things like illusions, unbalance, like deception? And like you really have to connect to your happiness with your heart, with your happiness. That's how you're going to attract in those higher connections and living in a very high vibe way as much as you can. So you can attract in these higher level soul connections in that you're not, living in a lower Neptune vibe way and attracting in, karmic relationships that you have to evolve out of. Okay, so anything else? Let me do the dice. Because the sixth house stuff, you're evolving out of karma. You're evolving out of karmic relationships here where you've put on too much like work, obligation and like just heavy workload and everything where it's time to like let those go. So yeah, Taurus, you're going to have a lot of breakthroughs with intimacy and maybe magnetic connections coming in, but also ways that you maybe self-suppressed out of practicality. And now it's time to like really release that. Saturn, so yeah, sixth house, you're finishing up any karmic, heavy work and relationships. So you can like, have that unconditional love and say, thank you. I learned my lesson. Time to evolve now into the higher connections. And it's all about like finding the community and soul family that you really vibe with. And yeah, all right. Thank you, Libra. Hi, Scorpio. Okay, so this is all about you being empowered in your work and you being empowered with your creativity. So the sixth house, this is like a fresh, exciting new start when it comes to your work, your routines, your everyday, grind, chores, work around the house. And it could be, making sure that, things are fair around the house, but also being empowered with your health in your diet and so you can be in a healthy body and everything, um and cutting out anything that's like really not serving you. You could easily cut out something that's not serving you with this. And it looks like you can have a powerful transformation with like home and foundation. So yeah, if you have been, doing too many chores or something around the house with home and family, like you can ask somebody to, help out a little bit more. And this trine to Juno, maybe you meet a love relationship at work. So that's very exciting. And then with Venus moving into the fifth house, it's all about what do you love to do? The fifth house is love, play, pleasure, just excitement, your creativity, your self-expression. You could easily attract in a higher level soulmate connection. You've been going through a tough time with Saturn here, so maybe there's been some walls or some blocks or delays or just like karmic things that you need to evolve out of when it comes to love. But the more compassion and love that you can have for yourself and for others, the more that you can, attract in a higher level soul connection around this time. So yeah, there's going to be major realizations with love. That makes sense. Um, so the frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. So if you've been holding anything back when it comes to like who you love and what you love, like you're aligning with that passion at that deep soulful core of who you are. And also if there's been any blocks when it comes to your creativity that you've been limiting yourself in any way, that's going to be, being removed too. Because it looks like there's been a way you've been blocking your own manifestations or your own creative output that you can let out of the bag with that. You're going to have realizations where like the illusions are being removed now, and maybe you've been in some fate or karmic cycles and you're ready to end those and you're ready to kind of take action with a bigger mission and purpose out in the world and the right relationships. But it's like realizing definitely letting go of some connections that might have been deceptive, might have been on the lower end of things, hiding things, maybe in their own vices. Um, but yeah, but how you free yourself from these cycles, because they are karmic cycles, patterns and everything, you can free yourself by just having more compassion and self-love. So having compassion and self-love, compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator of heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. So that's what's bringing you in that major, major, major manifestation, is by being able to hold more of that unconditional love. With Jupiter in your eighth house, you're cleansing your chakras, you're getting them all spinning the right way, you're healing all those like emotions are coming up with past like guilt, shame, resentment, judgments from other people. Like that's all coming up, and you're freeing yourself from it, so you can like hold more of this unconditional love when it comes to your creativity, because you got to be very serious with your manifestations and what you're creating out in the world, because it is for the highest good of all. And it is not just for you. And the more that you can align your creative manifestations for the highest good of all and for humanity, um, then they can happen a lot faster. But yeah, it looks like there are some caring connections that you might be releasing, so you can be really empowered with your work and work that you love. But it's time. You have the ideas now, you're ready to take action. Mars in the ninth house, like you're ready to take action towards putting yourself out there in the world and not hiding as much, and really bringing those bigger ideas and manifestations, and creative works out. You're ready to bring those out into the world. This is such a big focus, and it's so exciting because it's aligned with what you love to do, and it's really going to set you free. And it's very, so focus on your fun, play, pleasure, your creativity. That's liberating you in a whole new way. And it's going to bring you a lot of the right connections, that bring, a lot of transformation. And there can be, soul family coming in too easily. That kind of, brings in that internal awakening. Yeah. You're freeing yourself majorly from like old karmic, patterns and cycles when it comes to family. So you can kind of go beyond where your family has even gone before, or in your lineage, freeing your lineage majorly. All right. Thank you, Scorpio. Hi, Sagittarius. So this is a very exciting one for you. You're going to have a Venus cazimi in the fifth house. So really having a light bulb moment when it comes to what you love and what you're passionate about, and your creativity and your self-expression. It's really all about your creativity and how can you use that more towards your manifestations and, creating out in the world. And there's a powerful like transformation that can happen with your mindset and with your everyday life and with your community. Maybe you're connecting with a creative community, and, or maybe you're finding a lot of power with your voice and being creative in general. Um, but yeah, you can also meet a strong soul connection in your everyday life, in your community, doing what you love. But yeah, you're really going over like what you love, what brings you happiness, what brings you joy, what brings you that inspiration. And yeah, with this trine of Juno's in your first house. So it looks like you can meet somebody that comes to you. Um, past life marriage partner that could be a potential future marriage partner. So I like that. And then, yeah, Venus going into the fourth house. You're really focusing on home, family, and foundation, and what you need to release when it comes to home and family. Major dissolving, but it's a happy dissolving. It's if you've been holding on to anything that's too heavy, like when it comes to home, family, and foundation, maybe you guys, maybe you have too much property, or maybe you're holding on to too much family responsibilities that aren't yours, that you need to give back to your family and, loved ones in a loving way so they, get empowered themselves. But it looks like with this Mars retrograde, you've definitely been, reevaluating your time and your energy and what's yours, what's theirs, and how can you be the most empowered so you can have those conversations and have more of that solid foundation in yourself. This is majorly an internal awakening too, like internally awakening with what you love and connecting with your inner child again so you can like find like what you really love and be excited by that and not hold yourself back, like healing this wound from childhood with Chiron here and your self-expression. And but yeah, it is like a major slowdown moment for you to really realize all these things so you can move forward a lot faster in a much more fiery way. You're getting in tune with your inner wisdom. Um, and releasing yourself from a lot of old family patterns. That's like, it's like majorly healing your DNA, like with Neptune and everything, like really like releasing how, when you break those patterns, you can heal yourself and evolve beyond. Um, but yeah, also, really lusting. Okay, so Merkaba came out. This is like you getting in touch with your higher dimensional family, possibly, and those soul connections from, higher dimensions and past lives and all of that. So the are definitely like if you want to do a Merkaba transfer meditation, that can help you get in touch with the higher dimensions and help you call like more of your original self back from all timelines and lifetimes on this earth, on other earth, other not earths, other dimensions and planets and places, more of your soul consciousness. So yeah, it's almost beyond to like your higher self. You're connecting to the like yeah, the soul like pod or I forget what it's called anyway. Okay, so Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness and traverse into layers of reality dimensions, and it activates our access to the Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experience into the present to serve our highest purpose. Yeah, so connecting with yourself from all dimensions so you can bring it here right now in the I am present moment. So you can come here doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because Sagittarius rising, you do have higher wisdom and knowledge, and it's time to definitely activate it now. Emergence, the frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude. Oh, I love that. Of innocence and wonderment, and watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Yeah, so really getting in touch to that innocent child again to really find like what you really like love out of life, and how you can bring more of that joy and that happiness and connecting to the nostalgia a lot. So, and this can also be a soul connection coming in actually. But yeah, you're going to find by getting back into that, you can find what really ignites you again and release the heaviness. Ten of Swords came out. Finally release that from your mind and, maybe also realizing where you held yourself back with from old foundations. And the Four of Pentacles is usually like holding on too tightly to a foundation or family and not really letting anybody in, closing off the heart where you can open it back up again. And when you connect to that higher frequency of childlike wonder and just pure joy and happiness, then you can attract in, those just what's high vibe in general and what's like really meant for you. So two came out, two, and then Neptune, higher level soulmate connections from different dimensions that have that unconditional love. And then Pisces also. So yeah, let yourself go through that major internal awakening. And what's funny, like so many cards came out from this, but it's like you are facing past wounds of, rejection and abandonment. It's like soulful flooding, like majorly just coming up where you were abandoned and dismissed. And, even if it's something tiny when we were younger, like sometimes that does like set up a whole pattern of relationship stuff. And it doesn't even have to be major. It could be something tiny. I did a like regression into my childhood, and it's like there was like, yeah, traumatic stuff that happened, but then it was like the last straw that broke the camel's back that was actually not that big. That was the thing. So like sometimes it can be the tiniest things, and like you got to realize what that meant to your inner child, like where you did block yourself off, and where there was a rational fear created, because anything that keeps us from love is just trauma. Anything that stops us from like embodying more of that unconditional love is like some sort of fear or some sort of trauma that we can like really get into so we can free ourselves. So really give yourself the time to go internal, reminisce, dwelling, bittersweet. It is nice to connect to the past and home and family things so you can really free yourself. But at the same time, I love how these two came out. So like rejection and memories, like going back into the deep past and healing. And then this stuff is like the Aries stuff, the lusting and depth. So lusting, forbidden, non-committal sexual energy, that's igniting in a big way right now, like not holding yourself back and really going there, like with whatever you're really interested in, so you can like feel empowered with going after it. Because this is the big new chapter that's starting, and like you being able to, express your raw creative energy can lead to great things. But depth, there's going to be an awareness of the depth that's needed in love. Depth, awareness, importance, value. This card keeps on popping out. It's so funny with the Pluto aspect. But yeah, you got to kind of go deep. So you have that awareness when it comes to your sexuality, and let yourself go through that evolution so you can realize like, the importance and value of what deeply matters to you. Because it is exploring too, Aries is exploring. So, yeah, kind of let yourself like go. And this could also just be creatively, like maybe you decide to like, and that is healing too, like being able to creatively put your shit out there that, was from like a past trauma or heartbreak or whatever, like, and letting yourself get deep and raw. Like the best like stuff does come from heartbreak sometimes, or whatever trauma. So, but it needs to be expressed so we heal it. Otherwise, we hang on to it internally. And there's a major part of, especially like Merkaba awakening, where that stuff needs to be, released in some way. And you can do it in the fun way, in the creative way. All right. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. Okay, so this is happening in your home, in your family, in your foundation, in your internal world. I wouldn't be surprised if you go through some sort of major internal awakening. So you can have, self-empowerment, but it's really connecting to like home, family in the past. So you can maybe face any of those wounds and get ignited into back who you originally are. Like, kind of like coming, like, who were you when you were like a baby coming out, like, and getting more into that, like, before all the fears and the conformity happened and all of that. So you can have that inner power within. And then in your third house, it's all about communication and community. And this could be writing, this could be speaking. Oh, my gosh, so many cards came out for that. I love that. So, yeah, the third house is magical in your everyday life. It's very important to really have magical beliefs, because miracles can happen in your everyday life, but you have to be open to the miracles happening in your everyday life and connecting to that unconditional love. The frequency of miracles supports our belief in ourselves as a part of source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible. Believe that anything is possible right now, because in your everyday life, like magical stuff can happen, and you got to be high vibe. You got to be like that unconditional love. You have got to have that belief in your faith in yourself, in the universe, and that infinite abundant flow of the universe. Oh, belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and strong connection to source. So yeah, yeah, it's like I think your strong connection to source is like definitely awakening right now. In your third house, it's like you probably feel what other people are feeling, and you're probably like are very telepathic. And also your natural gifts and talents are probably coming on in a major way, and you can kind of just flow into recognizing those again. But man holding a coin, and yeah, they can, maybe make you some money too. Maybe it's time to monetize some of your creative skills and talents. Um, Juno in the 12th house, maybe you meet some sort of marriage partner on a spiritual retreat or through one of your passion projects. Um, and there's some sort of evolution with money happening, like recognize or your self-worth, letting yourself like go through that self-worth evolution so you can find more of that inner fiery core of who you are. But also, yeah, just again, monetizing maybe some of your skills and talents that you were born with so you can, just live doing what you love and like be very powerful with it actually, and very internally ignited. So yeah, Saturn came out. Definitely your everyday life in your community and putting up boundaries with who's in your area is definitely very important. But it looks like a deep connection can kind of come in, like you just in flow with your everyday life. Um, and spending time on the relationships that bring you that openness and that compassion and that unconditional love. Soulmates came out. So many, like, yeah, a soulmate wants to come in. A soulmate is getting ready to come in because, you've cleared out the relationships with this Mars retrograde that no longer serve you anymore. And you're getting aligned in a, very abundant way with who, like a soulmate that is going to be very expansive, very lucky, very mutually beneficial, especially when Jupiter goes into the seventh house in June. Jupiter is super happy in Cancer. So, and it's in your seventh house of relationships. So abundant, expansive relationships can come in. And you got to make sure you're high vibe for those. You don't want to think it out. You really want to be high vibe, and you don't really think too much. Well, I hate to say it, but like all this Pisces, it's like you just got to be in flow in your body and in tune with the magic of the universe and receiving those downloads, the seventh chakra. So be connected with oneness and the community. And that will bring you, soulmates. And soulmates can be friendships too, but definitely romantic is coming in for sure. Like all of this stuff, like clearing out the past and trauma and all that deep internal work that you got to do is like getting you prepared for a soulmate connection. And you want to make sure that you clear out all that internal gunk first and evolve out of it so you can be pointed in the right direction. Breaking point, limit, final straw, overwhelmed. Yeah, you might be cutting out some significant relationship because it's just like, it's time to spend more time on the soulmate connections or cut them out so the soulmate connections can come in. But yeah, your higher self, like two higher crown chakra cards came out. So you listening to those downloads, you connecting to oneness and believing in the miracles and the magic of the universe, like the one wants to come in, like, and like magic and prosperity. And yeah, but you got to get out of the box. You got to release the box completely. You got to just be connected to oneness and higher love, consciousness, and unity, and let yourself just flow in the right direction. Believe in the limitless abundance of the universe. And yeah, it's so strong. It's about love, it's about money, But the way you're getting there is by letting go and surrendering and just like having more unconditional love for yourself and others. And yeah, letting this just happen for you. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. Okay, so this is happening in your third house, which has to do, hello, with community, with community or everyday life, the people that are surrounding you. This could deal with siblings, writing, communicating, just your everyday life, whatever you do in your everyday life, and finding some sort of healing with that. And then it also has to do with your values and yeah, what you value about make when it comes to making money. You're revising the way that you make money and your community and your skills and your talents and really getting soulfully aligned with that. So with this nice renewal that's happening with your everyday life, maybe you find a way to schedule your everyday life that is way more empowering for you. There might be some people in your community that you do have to cut out or that that aren't very, yeah, they're just not empowering you on a daily basis, and you got to be powerful, you speaking up and finding your voice and like mainly finding your voice and being empowered with that um, is empowering you because you're going through a major evolution um, with yourself and your identity and who you are out in the world. And you got to let yourself be powerful. And, not everybody is going to like you, and that's going to be okay. And you just have to like be in your power anyway. You have to know what you like. You have to know how you want to live. You have to know that you're why you're doing things and you're kind of like you are a channel for source and doing things for the collective in the highest good of all. And if you can set your intentions that way, then you can be a very powerful person. And you have to be a very powerful person. There's no not being a very powerful person right now. Like this is what you signed up for. And it's all about letting yourself have that fiery mentality and voice of speaking up for yourself and taking the bullshit so you can step into your power and really be aligned with your happiness. And of course, sun came out, so it's like, yeah, focusing on your happiness and being balanced about it. You don't have to be rude, even though like it will be easier to be like quick and like rude and just say what's on your mind. But realize like what's not worth the power struggle. What is the power struggle that you keep on running into on a daily basis that might just be exhausting, that you got to cut people out. And speaking up for yourself, like where you probably held yourself back, is going to be healing. And it's like cutting away those attachments in the people that might just be like kind of hanging on, to your light and like who you are and who you're like you as a powerhouse that you kind of have to release because you got to focus on you and your vision and what you really want. So, Mercury came out. Yep, all about communication. Sixth house. Yeah. So Mars, yeah, and then it's all about money. Like if you want to be rich, you got to connect to oneness, source, inspiration. You got to connect to the highest good of all. If you can receive abundant ideas from the universe that you can implement into society and create as a project that can bring you a lot of money, but the intent does have to be for the highest good of all, for humanity. And yeah, you can really like be decisive. Like you're gonna have a lot easier of a time with work when Jupiter goes into the sixth house. Um, a lot more abundance coming in general and a lot more of a easy flow in June. So there's a little frustration right now, but it is to like cut out what's no longer serving you anymore. And you're meant to majorly evolve when it comes to your creative projects. So what's fun, what's passionate to you, what is bringing that inspiration? Don't ignore that. Um, Mars is definitely cutting away what's no longer serving you. And Mars in the sixth house might have brought up like situations that were frustrating in your routines and work and coworkers that needed to be cut out, and you're not going to be dealing with so much of that frustration anymore. But the more that you can focus on, what you really value, Venus in the second house, it's like, yeah, you value money, but if you align what you're doing with that highest purpose of all, higher highest good of all, and with a higher purpose for society, and you're really trying to make things from the heart, then you will have that infinite abundance. Um, and be very careful with your money around this time. Because yeah, it looks like some sort of illusions, like maybe a creative opportunity that seems too good to be true might be. So Seven of Cups came out. That's like there's a lot of options and not all of them are good. Cloudy judgment, illusions, unbalanced, distorted. You got to realize like maybe wait to invest, okay, till after this is all done, because like not every option is a good option, and you're not seeing things clearly yet. So don't make the decisions, any financial decisions just yet until this is done and Neptune is out of there. Rejection, abandoned, dismissed, irrational fear. So you can have a lot of major healing too, with the second house, with self-worth issues. Um, from the past, from childhood, from, any of the little ways that we like beat up on ourselves where we've been rejected. You can just have more of that unconditional love for yourself so you can be more abundant. Let me see, but Queen of Swords came out reversed. So what's that? There's going to be information coming your way. Um, Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands came out. So too fiery, a fiery person and quick answers might lead you in the right direction towards the community that you should be connecting with. So yeah, some sort of like, and this is dual too. Again, see like um, some information that's like logical, that's like maybe the practical way of doing things in its choice. And then there's a fiery that might be like reckless way of like, but that might actually be the abundant opportunity. So get out of your mind with making the decisions and really get into your heart. And ask your friends maybe about it too. Because you're going to be pointed towards like more close friends and close community and people that you really feel good around. And that like is the direction to go in. Anything else? Yeah, there might be some sort of like cutting out like whatever bullshit because, if there's deception or illusions, like cutting it out, moving on, releasing this karma. Sixth house, you run into karmic relationships and just situations and patterns that you can evolve out of. So it's like, and making sure cutting stuff away so you're not overwhelmed in life in general. So you really know what you value and you know what to focus on when it comes to your work. So you can have that infinite abundance if you're just doing like what's in your heart and focusing on your happiness, because that's going to give you the most abundance back. All right. Thank you, Aquarius. Pisces. Let's do Pisces. Hi, Pisces. This is a very exciting one for you. So, it's really all about you. You're focused on yourself and your identity and what you value. And maybe you're definitely discovering yourself at that deeper soulful level and you're letting it come out. Oh my God, I love this. So, third eye chakra came out. So, you're having visions of your future and the things that you can possibly manifest and who you really are and your higher self. And you're stepping into that. You're bringing that more into this reality. Solar plexus chakra, that's what's going through a mutation, and you're getting really empowered with yourself and what you really value. So, solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life supports our sense of self, our personal power, in our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what we contribute to the whole. So, yeah, aligning your manifestations, of course, right now to the whole and the highest good of all is going to make, you powerful and a lot of money. But you're majorly like stepping into your true self. Like your higher self is being embodied even more so right now. So there's going to be a lot of awakenings with who you really are and how you want to represent yourself out in the world. And you can be more fluid and you can be more in flow. And, you don't need to be as like restrictive or holding yourself back in any way. And then this Kazemi happening in your second house is bringing you a new reset when it comes to money. Um, so there could be a new way to make money that feels really empowering. There's a whole new chapter here. So maybe you want to start doing creative projects and stuff that really is a lot of fun, that brings you a lot of that inspiration and like personal drive and life force. Um, and yeah, like with Pluto in the 12th house, it's like you connecting to that passion project behind the scenes, and maybe it's time to finally bring it out into the world. And that is a part of like who you really are. I like this trine to Juno too, because it's like maybe you meet some sort of soulmate relationship, past life and could possibly be future. Um, Love relationship at work with who you just naturally are out in the world. Um, and yeah, so let's see. And with Mars going direct, it's like you're empowered with what's fun now. Creatively, what do you like to do? Aligned with the creative projects and the people and the fun. That's really good for you. So let's see. You are the magician. You got to realize that you are the magician. And this is a major, major shedding. There's just no way around this. This is a major shedding because this just has to happen, before you get to the good stuff. So there's a big cleansing and release of your old self and your identity of what no longer serves you anymore. But there's going to be like a flooding of like, sorrow and memories just from the past and bittersweetness. So you can really sit, in this old karmic chapter so you can get ready to be that new empowered version of yourself and that higher version of yourself. So yeah, maybe there's a little bit of sorrow and grief. Things can be heavy with Saturn. Um, Facing responsibilities and being serious about your manifestations. But it's good to know that. And I was talking to somebody like today in the Pisces video, actually, how like there can be a wave of sadness, and you're probably feeling the collective sadness too. So let yourself feel, let yourself cry, let yourself, do all the things. And that doesn't like I think there's a thing with like healing where we get into victim so much, but you gotta like love when you let yourself do that. You got like that's high vibe, actually. It's letting yourself cry, let yourself feel, let yourself like, like when you do get to cry and it feels so good, and then you have that more love for yourself, and it just feels like such a relief. Like let yourself do that because that is going to set you free. And yeah, it is, you got to like really, say like feel everything so you can really say goodbye to this, old chapter of like who you were, but now you're stepping into like the magician in that highest version of yourself so you can make magic happen in your life and not avoid this door to healing, personal healing and happiness. You're getting ready to be empowered and to step into your power in a way that you never really have before. Um, and the King of Swords came out reversed. Like this might be a father ish, not father issue, maybe a father wound or something where like, stability looks different than like maybe the traditional, but it's really, you know, your kind of stability that you actually want. So it's like letting go of any beliefs that aren't serving you, that did come from family or some sort of rigid, not so in their heart, King of Swords. Make sure you're not being the King of Swords where you're being too iced off and blocked off and a little too sorrow. And you do let yourself break out of this and get into the King of Swords upright, which is someone who is who has a wide perspective, after like he's not going to let the world like ice him out and to like hold on to those walls. It's good to just recognize the expansiveness of life, take a step back, feel everything, and then get ready for this new exciting chapter that's going to have so many new pathways and so many new, just after you release the big heavy karmic stuff, there's new doors, there's new pathways, there's so much new excitement coming. And but you have to believe in that highest dream possible. Neptune came out. So you got to have believe in your fantasy, believe in what you want to create. And Sixth House came out, so it does maybe include like work that you really love doing and spending more time with that. And then Uranus, is helping you with breaking through ideas, breaking through, magnetizing connections can really come in. You can have just really brilliant ideas that can bring you a lot of abundance in monetizing your skills. So there's some sort of abundance in your community, in your daily life and writing. It's like this would be the transit where it's like you could be like writing and just like download the whole book in one day and like there it is, and there you have lifetime money now, especially when Venus goes back into Pisces. So really listen to your ideas and everything, and use your skills and talents. You could lead to a lot of breakthroughs and exciting like new ways that are really meant for you. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, it's very Pisces. It's very like all the way sad and then all the way happy and then all the way sad. There's no middle ground. So let yourself feel everything. Like you feel the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. You feel the fantasy and you feel the nightmare, and all of it is God's creation, and it's all going to bring you that to source ultimately. So connect to source in your intuition. Your intuition, I think like if you're resisting your intuition, this would be a lot harder. You are being forced into your intuition like no other right now. So listen to the signs, listen to the synchronicities, listen to the abundant flow of the universe. And realize that it is abundant and way bigger than any of us. And you naturally, as a Pisces rising, are supposed to recognize that and step into that power by letting yourself just flow with it. Um, be careful of obsession, I guess. There might be some exes coming back from the past, or people that might be obsessed just because it came out. So infatuation, adoration, addiction, and this could be other people, or this could be you. Make sure you don't have the last little bit of rose-colored glasses, karmic lesson or something. But yeah, there might be a relationship that you have to, leave behind. Two of Cups came out and the Lovers reversed. Why is it? But also it's a inward reflection on the old ways of relationships. So you can be in tune with those higher ways of being in a relationship now. All right. Thank you so much, Pisces. If you want to book a reading, check out my link in bio.